the Better Business Bureau, and we are very pleased to have the CEO, the president of the Better Business Bureau here with us, Alex Guardiola. Alex, good morning.
Thanks again for having us.
Yeah, well, this is very neat. Brought a couple of guests with you today. Tony and Lauren are here, Classic Concrete. But when you go Classic Concrete, I don't know what just came to your mind, but Tony, I have to find out about decorative concrete contractors. What do we mean by decorative?
So
I'll have you come right up to the mic.
Oh, sure. We mean doing some stamped concrete work, and there are a variety of patterns that you can use to make, a deck or a patio or a walkway look really good.
All right, Lauren, tell me a little bit more about that. So I'm going to have these different patterns. I'm going to come to you. We're going to be doing the deck, or we're going to be doing the patio, and you're going to help me pick out that right pattern. And what are some patterns that are out there?
Some of the patterns include ashlar slate. We have European cobblestone, jumbo stone. So what you're doing is creating a pattern that really is a beautiful pattern. So instead of using individual pieces for under which you can get weeds and so forth, and it just inevitably happens, the stamped concrete prevents weeds from being able to sneak up there. So it's really low maintenance and very long lasting, and you have the beautiful look. It's beautiful enough to be used at a castle or anyone's humble abode and anywhere in between. So it's really about value, maintenance, and just very aesthetically pleasing.
Yeah, Hank, I'll tell you, doing a little research and kind of going through their website, classicconcretenewengland.com, just taking a look. They do pool decks, patios, walkways and driveways, retaining walls and decorative walls. So there's a lot there. And to really just beautify your own home, really just adds value to it, but also that aesthetic, a pleasing view. So it's really impressive stuff.
Yeah, I think that's wonderful. And Lauren, more and more people, of course, they stay home. I think particularly during the pandemic, a lot of people put a lot into their homes or said, hey, the staycation, I can spend a lot of money and I can go to some different places. Or they put some money into the decorative concrete and stay home.
Absolutely. We've found that throughout the pandemic, we've really had so much call for this kind of work because people are again, focusing more on the home and hearth and the enjoyment that they and their families derive from having such a beautiful space. It brings to mind some particular projects that we've done where people have an outdoor fireplace and a beautiful patio, and they arrange for the seating area on that. And they are planning to stay in that home for years to come, and the enjoyment, the parties, the gatherings, the quiet times, all of this can be facilitated by such a beautiful space, and we're so pleased to be able to provide that.
Tony, walk me through it. So somebody comes, and what's the first thing that you sort of take a look at? Are they telling you, hey, here's what I'm thinking? Are they asking? I'm guessing that a lot of people are probably kind of asking for your advice. Hey, come on out, take a look at my place. What do you think I can do?
Right. So the first step in the process is to evaluate the site and see what all has to be done. And every single site is very different because there are unique situations, whether it's a redo or starting from scratch. And then, a lot of times what they ask is, what would you do if it was your project? And then I give them some ideas. And then at the end of the day, it'll be their decision. But I think they'll have a more informed decision, and they'll be happy with it. And if they sort of go off to one side or the other, then I can coach them a little bit and give them the pros and cons.
Well, you've seen so many of them is the thing. I mean, I might have something in my head, but I don't know. I don't know all the things that you've seen and some great ways. You come to my property, my castle, and you say, hey, you know what? What would look good here? And I go, oh, that would look good. So I would think that your expertise really comes into play.
Very much so. And, it's totally important. At the end of the day, my objective always is to make sure that they like it during the process of discussing how it should go. They like it when it's done a lot, and usually we surpass their expectations. And, we put a lot of integrity and trust into this whole process. And then I've seen driveways that I've done, more than 25 years ago with our crew, and they still look great, at this point.
That's great, Alex. This is great. This is another unique accredited business of the Better Business Bureau, and residential and commercial with this.
Yeah, obviously we were trying to highlight some of our good accredited businesses and, try to mix it up. But this is just a perfect example of things you can do to upgrade your home, right? You're trying to reinvest back into your own property, adding value, adding, again, the decor and that beautification process. Those are things that we want, but we want these good businesses to be highlighted because they're doing all the good work and all doing it correctly, right? We talk about accredited businesses and how important it is to do business with accredited businesses. These companies, such as Classic Concrete, they're doing all the right things, and they're making sure that their work has that stamp of approval, and making sure that, hey, we're doing it correctly. We're not trying to cut corners. We're making sure that the job is done in a timely manner and in the price point that you were originally looking at.
So, Lauren, what you've just been describing, you and Tony, is just is so cool. And again, for the enjoyment of your home for as long as you're going to be there. What else does Classic Concrete do? What are some of the other kinds of jobs you're involved in, either residentially or commercially?
Yeah, so Classic Concrete does both residential and commercial work. Our range is really great. I think that's another differentiator with Classic Concrete. First of all, Tony is on every job, so there's accountability and responsibility from the beginning to end. He's on every job. And that's why we have the excellent reviews. People love the work because it absolutely goes beautifully every time. He makes sure of it. So with the range, we're everything from a very straightforward, simple project all the way to historical renovation. We did work on the old stone house. We've renovated a 1920s carriage house. With regard to garaging and so on. So the range is tremendous. It gets very technical. Different elevations and so forth. You can imagine how there's an awful lot that goes into this kind of work that it might not meet the eye first off. That it's really a science. There's a lot of math, physics, and it's an art.
Wow. Tony, how did you get into all of this?
Yeah, that's a really awesome question. I grew up with it. I have a long history with my family, all the way from my grandfathers to my dad and his brothers, and in construction and masonry. So it was a good segue to actually start the business more than 25 years ago.
Wow. All right. So this is really a continuation of generations.
A tradition, yes.
Yeah.
And I think somehow our family is well wired to doing this sort of thing and have a good understanding on the idea. Though the important thing is to make an assessment of a project and then sort of build it between your ears, in your head before anything goes down, and understand pretty much all the steps that need to take place to go from this where it is now to where you want it to be at the end of the day.
Yeah, that visualization is important for you to visualize. So again, you've done so many of them. You can kind of see it, but to be able then to know what that client is seeing, their visualization of what it is, and be able to deliver on it. You said, oftentimes exceed expectations. That's tremendous. Yeah. Let me ask you a little bit about Classic Concrete and Classic Concrete getting hooked up with the Better Business Bureau and how that has helped.
Go ahead, Lauren.
Absolutely. So the Better Business Bureau, of course, is a longstanding institution that represents trustworthiness, honesty and fairness, and it's absolutely aligns with our, MO, the way that we operate. And especially today, it seems there's so much noise out there with, many people doing all kinds of work. You're not really even sure about the reviews, if they're all exactly on the up and up. And just people are very busy. They're working hard, and they don't really have time to go all the way from the very beginning to vet companies. And so that's where, especially having a resource like the Better Business Bureau, where companies are previously vetted, it starts the conversation at a different level than at the very, very beginning, where it's just a company you've never heard of, and you'd have to start at the very beginning trying to figure that out. It's too much, really.
Yeah.
And so this way you have a short list, and you can start from there and start talking about your actual project.
And why you're an accredited business.
Yeah, absolutely. And obviously, we want to make sure that people get the right company for the right job, right? And these projects could go sideways, and I understand that people try to find some cost savings, and maybe they see something on Facebook or they see something on, some kind of ad that pops up. Oh, but you're about to rip up your backyard. The last thing you want to do is be holding the candle, 5-6 months, and all you see is just ripped up, flooring or excuse me, roads and driveways and patios, and the company disappears. And that's the last thing we want for you. We want to make sure you're doing business with the right business, making sure that this company, we know that we vetted them. We understand that they are, as was mentioned, on the up and up. They are by far one of these highly accredited businesses that we want you to do business with. So you have that perfect patio. So if the timeline is there, they're going to make sure to try to hit it as right on the money as possible, but on the same price line, right? I mean, I think that's such a key thing for folks, that feeling of, and I say it all the time, that warm and fuzzy feeling, right? That that everything's going to be okay, and that project's going to be done correctly and timely.
So you're located in Holden. You go all over New England?
Yes, we do. And we've done technical projects as far away as North Adams, which is a 2-hour plus drive from here. And usually, when we have to do something like that, it's because, people will rely on your expertise, and there are not too many people that have a full understanding of how the thing comes together. Another thing that I may want to say, that even if there's a great deal of trust between you and the client, it's absolutely critical to keep that client informed as you go. And if you run into anything that has to be worked around, that before anything happens, that they understand that we have to modify things a little bit, and we discuss options.
No, absolutely. That communication is the key all the way from the start to the finish. ClassicConcreteNewEngland.com, is that the best way to get in touch?
Absolutely. We can call 508-922-4937. And again, we're Classic Concrete Holden. There are other Classic Concretes out there, so just be sure that we're the one in Holden for your resource.
Alex, fantastic to learn more about Classic Concrete. And, of course, all the businesses are going to be getting together up at Wachusett Mountain in the not-too-distant future.
Yep. So November 13th from 5 to 9 p.m., Mount Wachusett, we have our annual meeting and Marketplace Excellence Awards. It's going to be a great show. We have a cocktail hour and registration from 5 to 6. 6 to 7, we have our awards ceremony, and then 7 to 9, we have our reception, networking reception of dinner. Some live band. It's going to be fun. I think it'll be a good time to get together and get for our accredited business to get to know each other, right? And so it'll be a fun time. I know, and we have the fabulous Hank Stoltz emceeing for us. So we're excited to really get this going.
I look forward to being there. Going to be a lot of fun. Tony, Lauren, thank you both so much for coming in today. Alex, as always, thank you, and thank you for introducing us to another fabulous accredited Better Business Bureau business.
No, thank you so much for having us.
Thank you.